Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. Now, as you see by the title, I have some romantic, non-traditional DIYs for you in today's video for all of my spooky lovers that celebrate anything spooky all year long like myself. You can find most of these materials at Dollar Tree right now, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you have some of these materials at home. But before we get started, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free. But don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would really love to have you part of our virtual art family here. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and spending a little bit of time with me today. But don't forget to do all the YouTubey things down below. Don't forget to like, share, and also leave a comment in the comment section to let me know which one was your favorite DIY. Now, enough with all that being said, let's just jump right into it and let's art today. Moving right into our first DIY, I have a canvas here that is 12 inches by 16 inches roughly, and I have this glittery heart from a Dollar Tree pack that I just cut out. I'm going to use this as a stencil, but if you can freehand a heart, by all means you can do that as well, but I just really wanted my hearts to be even and all the same size, so I'm just using this. I grabbed a pencil, and as you see here, I'm just tracing the outline of the heart onto my canvas. They are going in all different directions, making the canvas look like it's covered in these ginormous hearts, which are going to be conversation hearts, but not in the traditional sense. Now, even though my hearts are going in all sorts of directions, I did want them to be as evenly spaced as possible, so that's why I keep going back and forth. And lastly, I did want to add a little bit more to the corners, and then you should have a canvas that looks like this and is ready to paint. Now, since they are still going to be conversation hearts, just not in the traditional sense, I still wanted them to be colorful, just not the traditional way, which is more of a pastel palette. I wanted mine to be some of my family members' favorite colors, so I am first starting off with this green and just filling in the heart. Now, if it gets outside of the lines, it is totally fine because we can fix that later. However, I am using acrylic paints, and acrylic paints tend to be a little bit less opaque, so you might have to do a couple coats. At least for me, I knew that I had to do a couple coats, so the lighter the coats the better, because as you progressively add more coats onto it, it becomes more opaque. Now, I will continue adding all of the colors that I want to, but I am adding them sporadically. So as you see here, I have a couple different placements of the green hearts where I like them, and then I will move on to my next color, which is orange. Now, lately I've been getting a lot of comments stating that they can never be an artist like me. However, I just want to remind you that you can be an artist. You don't really need fancy tools or years of experience. It's just really about expressing yourself and having fun. So that's why I'm showing you this painting here, because this is really simple to do. You just find a stencil, you outline it, and then you paint in the colors, and you just have to fine tweak it here and there, but you can really create a nice piece of art if you just learn to have fun with it. Remember, let your imagination flow and see where it takes you, because there is no specific rules when it comes to your own style. The point is just to have fun with it like I do here, and you can really go far if you continue to practice. Now, after I have all of my colors filled in, I am now taking a Posca paint marker, and I'm going to outline all of my hearts so that I can see where the original lines were when we first stenciled it in to begin with. Now, as you see here, some of the color did spill over into the canvas, which is totally fine because we will cover that over, but I will continue adding the outline to all of my hearts. This is not only just a painting for decor, but you can also use this to give as a gift to one of your friends or your family members who like non-traditional scents decor, which my family definitely does. So this was really fun, and I'm also going to gift this to my spouse. Now that I have all of my outline done, as you see here, I'm just taking some black acrylic paint and painting all of that negative space around our hearts. This way we can correct any of our mistakes and really make those hearts pop off of that canvas. Remember, you do not have to paint your background black if you do not wish to. You can always use a different color. I personally just like how it makes all of the hearts pop off the canvas, and that way I can also hide all of the mistakes that I did beforehand. But like I mentioned before, you do not have to use black if you do not wish to. After I added all of the coats of paint that I wanted to, I did let this sit and dry completely before moving on to the next step, which is once again taking my black Posca paint marker, and now I'm giving my hearts an edge, is the best way I can describe it. So I'm making this little line right here from one side of the heart, and I will continue doing that with all of the hearts because we will fill in that edge with a different color just to make the heart look a little bit more 3D. Once again, this is a personal preference. You do not have to do this step if you do not want to. I just really like how it gives off that 3D look. I did a similar painting on a terracotta pot, which I will link here and in the description box below if you would like to check that one out after this video. But it was really fun. I love painting on terracotta pots. Now that I have all of those lines made up, I am going in with a similar color. So with the purple ones, I'm going in with a darker purple, and I am using my Posca paint markers to do this, but you can also use acrylic paint and paint it in as well, and I think that way is a little bit better because then you can pick the right shade of color that you want with your adjacent heart. Now as you see here, I do paint the edges of my canvases. It just makes it look more seamless and that the painting continues on all the way around, which I absolutely love, but you do not have to do that. You can always just paint it completely black so it looks more like a frame. I will continue adding on all of the colors to the edges of my hearts. Now, while I am doing that, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have you here part of our virtual art family. If you're already a subscriber, once again, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. I do appreciate each and every one of you that are here today spending a little bit of time with me. If you are enjoying this video thus far, please smash that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. Now, once those edges had time to dry, I am going in with my black Posca paint markers. I did outline them, and now I'm making these little stitching because I wanted the edges to look like they were stitched up, and I'm just making little dashes and X's on the outline. I absolutely loved how this turned out, and I did give my spouse a sneak peek, and they loved it as well. So I will continue adding all of the dashes on the outer edges of our hearts that we just created. Now, the very last thing to make these conversation hearts is to add some words on them, and this was a little bit tricky for me because I didn't really know what to write, so I tried to look up words that are non-traditional conversation hearts, and a bunch of things popped up which I thought was hilarious. So my first word is go away, and if you have been following my channel, you do know that I have a hard time with my lettering. For some reason, when I paint it on or try to draw it on like I am with my paint marker, it's not always up to my standards. However, I just thought this was really fun. I took my time and tried to space out all of the letters correctly and just add all of the silly words, which you can get very creative with because there is a lot of words out there to choose from. But once you have all of your words put on your heart and wait for it to completely dry, that completes our very first DIY. I absolutely had so much fun making this DIY. Remember, you can change it up to make it however you like, but I absolutely loved how this turned out, and it is super funny for me and my spouse. But I would love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comment section below. Dollar Tree has the cutest candlesticks and candleware this year that I found so far. They have these metal ones right here. They come in 3 sizes, a small, medium, and large size, and I picked up the small and larger size. I thought they would be a cute pair. Along with these candlestick holders, I thought they were adorable, but I want to combine them and make them into a new candlestick. As you see here, I'm just playing with it. I just need to remove all of the excess labeling with a pair of scissors so that I can start gluing them together. To glue down my candlesticks to one another, I'm just using my hot glue gun with a Gorilla Glue stick that says it could pretty much adhere down to anything. With the smaller one, it was easier to glue down because it has this little lip right here, and all I needed to do was make sure that it was centered, and I pushed the candle holder into the candlestick until it dried a little, and then I placed it to the side. For the second one, the larger candlestick, it was a little harder to glue down because it didn't have the frayed edges as the smaller candlestick, so I did have to go back and add more hot glue to the outer edges of the candlestick underneath the candle holder. Nonetheless, it still held up pretty nicely. Now you can be finished right here, and these would be absolutely adorable candlesticks, but to make it more Valentine's Day themed, I'm going to add some roses and these love wood cutouts. They call it ornaments, but I just think they're just wooden cutouts onto the candlestick. I'm just trying to find the best placement. Once again, I will use my hot glue gun to attach the rose to the front of the candlestick and also the love word sign onto the little rounded part of the candlestick too, just using a little bit of hot glue, placing it where I like it and pushing down firmly. The last thing you need to do for this DIY is add some candlesticks to these candle holders, and this is such a romantic DIY that you can place all around your house, and it will definitely scream a Valentine's Day. I know this is an oldie but goodie, but I had to reshare this DIY with you because I absolutely love it, and it's perfect for the romantic side of Valentine's Day. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This one is a little bit different than the norm, I would say, but it definitely goes with some of my home decor. I have this skeleton wooden piece from Dollar Tree from their Halloween section that I kept in my crafting stash. So I am just removing it from the package and removing some of those metal rings that are holding each part of the skeleton together. Now, after you remove those pieces, there are holes that are left over, and I just wanted to fill those holes so that when I paint on top of my skeleton, you won't be able to see them. So I have some of this Dollar Tree caulk, and I'm just pressing it into the holes. Now, if you have wood filler, that would be good too, or clay even. I'm just using what I have on hand, and I'm just pressing it into the hole and wiping off the excess. I am letting that dry completely before I start painting over it. That's what I like about this caulk from Dollar Tree, because it does dry pretty quickly. And then I am taking some Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, and I'm just giving it a nice coat over each one of those pieces and trying to get the sides of it too. If you want, you can always change the color of your skeleton, but I like the white look, so I give it a couple of coats on each part. I did let that dry completely off to the side. Now for the next part of this project, I have this chalkboard. Now I'm not really sure where I purchased it. It was either Five Below or Dollar Tree. Now I do know that Dollar Tree and Five Below still carry some chalkboards, so you can find something similar, but I am just going to paint on the edges of this chalkboard. I have used this chalkboard in a previous project, and if you wanted to see that DIY, I will list it down in the description box below. After I was done painting the edges and it was completely dry, it was now time to pretty much assemble everything together. So since these are all dry and painted over, they're pieces of a skeleton, and I'm just putting them in various places. There's no pattern, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just placing it down to see where it best fits, and then I will secure it down into place. The adhesive that I'm using to place down my pieces with is this double-sided tape from Dollar Tree, which was really cool. I found it in their Crafter Square section. All you needed to do was cut down the size of tape that you need, place it right on the back of the piece, and press down firmly so it adheres down to the chalkboard. It does hold up nicely, and if you want to remove this later on, you can, because it's not permanently stuck down. That way you can change up your decor piece for the next season. Now for the remainder part of my chalkboard, I am going to take a chalk pen and write out the word love you to pieces. And I took my time with writing out each one of those letters because, as you may know, if you've been following me for quite some time, I really do not like my handwriting. I really have to take my time. So this is a sped up version of me writing out the words. Once again, if you are not confident in writing out the words yourself, you can always print them out on a printer, or if you have a Cricut or Silhouette machine, you can use that as well and just place it onto your board. That way, that is not a permanent hold either, and you can change it up later. I was done writing all of my words. The last bit of detail that I wanted to add is some of these foam hearts from Dollar Tree. All I am doing is putting them all around my board, and then I'm going to attach them using that same double-sided tape from Dollar Tree. Place them down and press down firmly, and that completes this DIY. Here is how my sign turned out, and I think it's super adorable, and it goes more with my home decor, and my family members love it as well. I would love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comment section below. Moving right into our next DIY, I have another canvas idea, and this one is an 8x8 canvas. Now, always check Ross for canvases because they sell an abundance of canvases for reasonable prices in all different types of sizes. Now, as you see here, I am first going in with some gray acrylic paint, and I'm drawing these little U's upside down. This will potentially become ghosts because, like I mentioned before, my family and I like anything spooky, so this really goes with more of our home decor. We do like the cutesy side of things as well. That's why I create some of those DIYs, but we absolutely love anything creepy all year long. So after I have my ghost filled out with that gray paint, I am now going in with black acrylic paint, and I'm just outlining the outer edges of my ghost because, once again, I made a couple mistakes, and this is the best way that I found out for myself to correct those mistakes and try to make it the way I want it. Now, I know ghosts are typically white, but I like to have a base layer of the darker colors. That way you can build on top of it with your lighter colors and so on and so forth. As you see here, I am adding more of a whiter gray color on top of the darker gray, and with some of that black being on the outer edges, it does help with some shading and shadows that I will create. I'm just going to continue layering all of the different hues of gray on top of the ghost just until I got it to my liking. Now I am going to continue blending all of my grays in with each other, but then at this point I wanted to give my little ghosties some hands, so I'm making more of that little U here, and I'm using some of that black that was on the outer edges to blend in and make more of a shadow, so it really makes their arms pop out. And then I will continue adding more color on top until everything is well blended in. Now that I am pleased with my little ghosties for right now, I am now taking some black acrylic paint and painting all of the background with that black acrylic paint, really wanting the ghosties to be popped off of that canvas. So that's why I choose black. But remember, you don't always have to choose black. You can always make a scene or use a different color if you want to. This is just an idea to help inspire you guys to create something different for your home decor. After I have all of my background filled in, I am now taking a really thin paintbrush and making my ghosties little eye cutouts here. And once again, I'm just using black acrylic paint to do both of my ghost eyes. Once I was done with my ghost eyes, I then wanted to add a heart to each one of my ghosts, but not a completed heart. I wanted to add a half of a heart in each one of their hands. That way, when they're together, the heart becomes a whole. I think it's super romantic and somewhat poetic in my opinion. But once I was done filling in the hearts, I did give each one of the ghosties a little bit of blush on their cheeks, and that completes this DIY. I absolutely love and adore this painting. It is technically very different, but I think it goes well with our Valentine's Day decor in our home. But I would love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comment section below. Alright friends, that completes today's round of DIYs for you. I had a blast making each and every one of these. Here's a quick overview of the DIYs that we created in today's video. I really hope you enjoy. If you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is free and we would love to have you here, part of our virtual art family. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me creating some of these DIYs. If you can please smash that thumbs up button and share it to at least one friend, it really does help out my channel to push out to more people and just connect to DIYers and crafters out there. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Even though these are non-traditional DIYs, I had a blast making these, and I would love to know which one was your favorite down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.